guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to show you how to turn a vintage shutter into a work of art. So I hope you enjoy the video. So I just have here an old shutter that I'm going to be taking the hardware off. So I'm going to take one of the shutters to do some artwork. So let me get all my hardware out of the way here. Alright, and then it's a little dirty on this side, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spritz it with some water and a paper towel and just try and get some of that dust off there. It's been sitting in my garage for a while. Looks pretty clean, but that's not the side we're using anyways, that would be the back. The front side looks really nice and clean. So there is this piece of wood here that has your louvers that go up and down, and I'm just going to leave it there because it's actually holding everything together right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hot glue this edge so that my shutter doesn't open anymore, so that I can do artwork on the front. So I'm going to get my hot glue gun going here. Maybe I'll just give the front, just so there's no dust on the front either, even though it looks pretty clean, before we start painting it. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I know that it's white already, but it's kind of got a little shine to it, and I don't want that shine on there. They might have used a semi-gloss to paint these shutters. I'm going to use some white chalk paint because it's very matte, and this is by Rust-Oleum. You can use any chalk paint you want. I just happen to have this one on hand, and I know it just seems kind of weird that I'm painting white on top of white, but I don't want that shine on there that these shutters originally had. So I am just going to be giving it a fresh coat of white. I'm going to go ahead and paint the sides here and cover up where those little, the hardware was. You could just go ahead and if you wanted to take some wood putty and fill that in, you could do that as well. I kind of like to leave them because it just gives the natural look of the original look of the shutter. So it doesn't really bother me, especially once you paint it. And you don't really need to paint the back side of the shutter because that's going to be against a wall. So, let's see if this is warm. Yep, it's ready. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over. Make sure that it's nice and clean under there before I flip it over because it's still damp. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a little dot of hot glue where those little, they're like little brackets, little staples that open and close the shutter, and I don't want it to be opening and closing anymore. If you do want your shutter to still be opening and closing while it's on the wall, which I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but if you do want that, then don't do this part. You don't want to glue it. And I'm just going all the way down, and I can do the other side too a little bit just to secure it. Go ahead and unplug my glue gun. So, and that dries really, really fast. So I'm just going to flip this over again. And so I just wanted to show you what I've got here. You can hand paint this if you want to. You can stencil something on here if you want to. And I discovered these stamps, and they're really cool. They're by Iron Orchid Designs, and I just bought them the other day. This one here is a floral print. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's a floral print. There, maybe on the white you can see that. And it comes in 2 sheets. It came in that one and this one, which are really cool. And it comes with the stem, so you can put the rosebuds anywhere on the stem that you want. So you can kind of create your own little painting here. And then I also bought, which did not come with those, was leaves. I thought those were really cool too. So, but I think today what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing some of the florals on here. So let me just dry this a second. Okay, so now that my shutter is nice and dry, I'm going to go over it with some gray glaze. It's called Smoked Glaze, and it's by Rust-Oleum as well. And so what you do is you put it on and you rub it off right away, and it leaves this really nice glazed look on any piece that you're doing. You're going to want to brush it on and then wipe it off. And I'm actually going to put a glove on because it does get kind of messy. Okay. So I'll show you how I do that. And I'm going to want to get in all the little grooves. And the glaze comes in many different colors. I just like this smoky gray look. I thought it looked really cool. And you're just going to want to put it on everywhere. Just a nice thin coat. Try and get in all the little crevices that you can. And depending on how big your piece is, you may not want to do the whole piece at once, because then when you go back to wipe it off, what you did first might be dry already. And then it might not come off so well. So you might want to do, like I said, depending on how big your piece is, you might only want to do like half of it or a fourth of it. If you see that it's starting to dry, you may want to stop and just start taking it off with a rag or a paper towel. And today's kind of a humid day, so it's not drying that fast. Plus I'm in my garage and it's nice and cool in here, so it's not drying that fast. So I think I can just keep going. It's starting to dry up on top. So you know what? I'm going to stop here a minute and I'm going to start pulling it off. So you're just going to want to take a paper towel or a rag, a clean rag, and you're going to want to start pulling it off. And it's going to leave the smoky look in the crevices, which gives it that kind of aged look. So you're just going to want to pull it off and kind of go with the grain of the wood. When your paper towel or rag starts getting a little saturated, just grab another one. And you can even go down the louvers like this, give it a little bit more texture. It a little bit darker, you just wait till this dries completely and you do it again. And you just keep doing it until you get to the darkness that you want. I don't want mine to be too dark, so I'm just going to leave it as this nice aged light gray look, but I'm also going to do the sides on my shutter. Just going to let that dry completely, and you can use a blow dryer if you want to, which I think I'm going to do. So it's pretty dry. It's still damp in a couple little spots, but that's okay. So I'm going to take my little stamps that I just showed you, throw this away, and I think I'm going to take these really pretty I I don't even know what kind of flowers these are. I have no idea, but they're really cute. I don't know if you can see that on there. You'll see it once I paint it. So I am going to do these in a gray. It's also a chalk paint. And I mixed a beige and a black together. And I got this kind of grayish color. You can do any color you want and stir it up. So I had made this, so I can't even tell you really what color this is because I made it. But it's a beige and a black together. But you can take any brand chalk paint you want. I think this is a Waverly brand that I'm using here. And you're gonna wanna lightly go over these stamps, which I think these stamps are so cool. They've got so much detail in them. And you're gonna wanna make sure that it's nice and covered, but not too much that it's going in all the little crevices. You wanna leave those crevices kind of without paint, because then it shows the detail on the surface that you're trying to paint. So get this nice and covered, nice and lightly. Okay. And once you think it's nice and covered, you can begin to put it where you want. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is, now this is gonna be a little tricky because normally it's a solid surface that I'm stamping on, but this has got the louvers, so you're gonna wanna go ahead and press in and just make sure that it's there. I think I'm gonna do this one so it's a little bit on the edge too. So once you put it down, you can't lift it back up. You're gonna wanna tap it. And I don't know how well this is gonna turn out. Like I said, I normally do this on a flat surface, but this is louvers, and I'm going to try and get in all the little crevices I can. Press it down without moving it. Lift it up and see how I did. Ooh, that looks really pretty. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to bring the camera a little closer, or the shutter a little closer to the camera. You can see some details in there. It's really pretty. So I think I want to go over it again. So whatever I just had on here obviously is not on here anymore. It's now on my shutter. So I'm going to lightly go over it again. Get as much detail as I wanted on that bottom, so I'm going to gently come in. Let's figure out where I can put it. Doesn't have enough detail, so I'm just going to go ahead and gently just stamp it again. Okay. There. So I stamped it a couple times there, just because it had some empty spots in there and I wanted to fill them in. Then I'm going to take, I think, a couple of these single flowers. Let's see. Or should I do some leaves? Leaves would be pretty too. Maybe I'll do some leaves. Okay, so I'm going to take, now this is brand new, so I'm going to take this off. Oh, and one thing with these stamps, these iron orchid stamps, you have to, they call it seasoning the stamp, and you're supposed to take just a really fine grit of sandpaper and lightly just rub over them a little bit. And they call it seasoning so that the paint sticks to it a little bit better. I did that already to this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of my gray paint on here again. So I've got some leaves there. And then if you see that it's not really connecting very well, you could just take your brush and kind of fill in some of those areas a little bit if you want to. It probably would have filled in really well if this was a flat surface, but this is not a flat surface. They're louvers, so you might just want to fill in some of your areas a little bit. Okay, so I've got some leaves there now. Really pretty. You can add more colors to this if you want to. I think I'm going to take some of these smaller, well, maybe no, maybe I'll do, let's see here. Maybe I'll add, I'm going to add another one up on top of the same floral that I had just done. So I'm going to add a little bit more. To bring your little stem down a little bit, you can. Like that. And you can take your little brush and fill in some of your empty spots again. Okay. Oh, that's really pretty. I think that's beautiful. So you can go ahead and add a little color in here if you want to. You can write something on the bottom if you want to. Now that this is dry, you're gonna wanna go ahead and pick out some florals. You can leave it like this and put some ribbon or whatever on it if you want to and just hang it on the wall like this, but I think I'm gonna take it a step further. And I've got some vases here. There's a blue one, a clear one. They come in all different sizes and shapes. But the one that I think I really like is this kind of greenish one. I thought this green would look really pretty against the gray and the white. So since you've got some florals going on here, you don't want anything too much because you don't want to take away too much from your painting that you just did. But I just wanted to show you, I've got some berries here, or you could use maybe just a long stem of these white flowers. But the one that I'm going to choose today is orchids. I thought maybe this pretty purple orchid would look great against the gray with the green vase. So I cut it off, and I'm not going to put too many. I'm just going to put this, and then I think I'm going to also put a couple of more like twigs in here, and then it's going to be hanging from here. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to take my vase, and I'm going to take some twine, and I'm going to wrap it around my vase here, tie it a couple times. Then you're going to want to wrap it around, give it that rustic farmhouse look, and tie it again so it stays. So give it a couple ties, you don't want this to unravel. And what you're going to do is you're going to lift this up and measure about how much you want it to be hanging. So I think I'm going to have it hanging, I'm not sure if you can see this, but I'm going to have it hanging about there. So what you're going to do is you're going to wrap it around this. So I'm going to cut it with scissors. Okay. And then I'm going to just lay it on its back. And this is about the length I wanted it. So I am going to fish it through the little spokes here. Seems to be going on today. Maybe it needs a new bulb. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and tie this a couple times. So that way your vase is actually hanging in the front, but it's tied in the back. Okay, so that's good. And then if you wanted to, you can give that a little bit more hot glue also, just to make sure that it stays. So it's gonna look like this. All right, now to hold this in place, I took some ribbon. You can go to the dollar store or Michael's or Joann Fabrics, anywhere you want, and get some really nice decorative ribbon. This one here is the natural with the white polka dots. I think I'm just going to use regular natural today. So you're going to want to fish it around your shutter like that. And you're going to want to tie it. And you can bring this as high or low as you want. I'm going to bring it about there. And I'm just going to tie it in a knot. Right there. And then you can kind of curl these if you want to. Like that. And you put your little greenery in there. Mine are my orchids. That looks really pretty. If you want to put another little ribbon down here, you can. I think that'd be too much on this piece, so I'm not going to. And then the way that you're going to hang this piece, I'm going to get some twigs too, because I think it needs some twigs. I don't want to cover up too much of my painting that I did underneath. So actually I'm going to bring this up a little bit. There we go. And then how you're going to hang this is you can take another little bit of your twine, cut some off, and you're going to feed it through here. All right. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to fish it through this little louver thing again. And I'm going to tie a knot, and I'm going to leave a little loop so I can hang it on the wall. So you're going to tie it a couple times. So that way you don't need one of those little sawtooth hooks or anything. You just hang it with a nail and just put it on this little loop that you made. So that's how it's going to hang, just like that. So there you go. Let me straighten this up. You might just need to straighten it up a little bit. You can use any florals you want. Like I said, I chose these purple orchids, which I thought were really pretty. And I am actually going to put a couple little twig things in here too, I think. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little something. And if you want the most up-to-date videos, please subscribe to my channel. And you can also follow me on Instagram at TanyaDesigns26. Have a great day.